we've really enjoyed this season so far. I feel like we have a lot of really great people, some really cool couples, like different types of people that we don't always see on TV, which has been like kind of cool and refreshing. So there's a couple couples in particular who are definitely struggling with that communication piece. So first I want to talk about Brett and Olivia.
Your job, how much money do you make?
How much money do you make?
Because one of the big things that they seem to be butting heads on a little bit is their approaches with money, where Olivia makes a decent living for herself. She's a nurse practitioner, I believe, and she kind of has the mindset of taking whatever disposable income she has and just kind of spending on entertainment, living her life and enjoying it. And Brett is not making as much money, and his approach is much more in like paying down the house and like these kind of serious things. But when they're talking about it, it's clear that they're not really connecting on why they see things so differently. So what do you see when they're talking about those things?
Well, first of all, I think, if you have a person who likes to spend and save, that can actually be a beautiful thing, right? Like that can be a really great match. In my own household, I am the spender and my fiance is the saver. And he is also an engineer like Brett. And I noticed some similar ways of communicating, very black and white. Like you're either going to budget or you're not, right? Or you're going to save or you're not. And if you choose to maybe take a spin class, then you're saying, I'm not saving for this. And I don't think that's how Olivia was thinking about her money. I think she was thinking about it in a way of, well, I am earning this. And sometimes the experience of maybe, I don't know, going on a trip, it sounded like she liked trips, concerts, but experience to her is worth the money. Whereas for him, it seemed a little bit more tangible, right? Like owning a home, which totally respectable. I understand why that would be a goal. So I think the difference is they weren't communicating what their needs were, right? So for her, it's like, I want to spend this money because having an experience with you matters so much to me. That would make me feel so happy. This is what this is what's going to make me feel really close and in love with you. And for him, I think he wasn't able to communicate that, like, knowing that we have money in the bank or knowing that I can rely on you to maybe cook 3 nights a week instead of going out would provide me so much safety that I would feel a lot better. Instead, they kind of did that sarcastic short thing with each other, and it just, nothing really got said. Whereas I think, Brett was really coming from a place of fear. It wasn't being communicated well. And then I think Olivia got defensive. And I get that. Anytime someone tries to make you change your habits that you didn't even really see as a negative habit, that's hard.
It definitely felt like a pattern with them where like she would be kind of back to the finances thing really quickly, just as an example, where she's saying something like, I enjoy spending money on experiences and I would love you to do those with me. And it's like he heard, I want to drain your retirement account. So he reacted to that. He got 5 steps down and was like, this is what we're going to focus on. And it's like they were never taking what the other was saying at face value. And then like the layer of that of his sarcasm was just like,
But to be fair, the conversation they had at one point where she mentioned that she wanted to do these things and he mentioned, okay, like you can do it. And she's like, well, no, I want you to come with me. And I also want you to pay for your side of the, like, I think that's where the compromise might have been needed, where if he is making significantly less, he just doesn't have the finances to travel that way. And I think you mentioned the insecurity. Like I could see that being very hard. Ironically, he being insecure about, hey, I don't have the finances to live the way you want me to live. That's a hard thing to accept. And maybe it's like, all right, well, instead of dealing with it, let me throw some sarcastic jokes about this and hopefully we can change topics.
Expensive vacations and nice wines.
I enjoy cheap wines.
It would be really hard to get vulnerable and say, like, I'm feeling insecure about this. And I don't think they were together long enough, and I don't think Olivia had a chance, but, she could have been like, Brett, like, whatever, I might be paying for this trip, but I value the fact that you cook for us every night. Like, I don't know what I would do without that. Like, let him know the things he is doing.